Irene. All right. Hello, everyone. So I hope we had a wonderful weekend. I believe that we are enjoying the holidays and we were able to look through the assignment. So before we start with the class, I would like to know how many of you were able to attempt the assignment and what were some of the challenges you faced? Today, we are going to use the day to solve the assignments. How many of you were able to, you can raise your hand or you can type it in the chat, whichever one works for you. How many of you were able to attempt the assignment? Can I be heard? Hello?
Yes, you can be heard.
Hey, and why is everybody quiet? Is it that none of you attempted the assignment or what? Hey, it looks like I'm on my own. Oh. Class day in Myanmar. Hey, okay, all right. So then in that case, I will share my screen and then we would go through the assignments. But like I said, if you don't play around with Python a lot, you might not understand some of these things. When it comes to programming, usually what you read in books is not what happens when you are working. It's similar, but there are lots of things that you learn by practicing. So I would always encourage that we try as much as we can. I mean, even if it's just one or two of the question sets I give, it's all right. You don't have to attempt all of them. Okay. Anyway, so let me quickly share my screen. Give me a moment. Where is my? All right. Okay. Can my screen be seen? Can you see my screen?
Yes, please. Yes,
Yes, sir.
please.
Okay. All right. So let me come here. I shared the assignment. This is functions and loops. So let's go with the first one. Iris slicing two.
Hello, sir. Please, I have a question.
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
Are we supposed to go along with you, or we should not, we should just pay attention to what you are doing and then later on we practice?
No, we are doing this together. It's an assignment.
All right,
The
sir. Thank
assignment
you.
I shared. Yes. So we are doing it together. So whatever I say, I'll just ask you to give me the solutions. So this is the assignment I gave you. So I wanted us to do something a bit more practical. So for example, you work at a meteorological station and you're asked to, we've collected data over, a period of 5 days, morning after morning, from morning till evening, and we want to find out, the highest temperature recorded within these 5 days. You understand? You can also choose, select all the temperatures on the third day in case, you want to run, some administrative work or, do some comparative analysis. You have to pick the third day and stuff like that. So these are like some practical things you can do with programming. And if you program and you know how to define a function, you can automate these things and you don't have to be doing it over and over again by yourself. You just put a for loop and everything in there. You have a function defined and boom. All you have to do is just insert data and then they'll be churning out results for you. Okay. So now let's first of all construct the what do you call it, the array. So we first of all go to um, our command prompt, open it, and then we run our Jupyter notebook. Okay. Oh, this is taking too long. Pardon me. Uh, yep, good. Let's stop. Python 2026. Yes, then we create a new file, notebook. Some of you will see a Python kernel, iKernel or something. Then we call it assignments. We name it assignment here. So I come here, call them assignments. We rename it. Okay, so I would want to enter the data that we used so I can see them. All right, so you say data equal to them. Oh, okay, so before we do this, you have to import NumPy. Import NumPy as NP. Then we go data equal to np.array and how I get in here, enter. Then we start with okay, so I'll do it this way. You open and close. All right. So we go to the first line. Let me see if it's possible for me to copy so I don't have to type. Yep, works. Let me see if I can copy multiple lines. It has comments in them, but let me see if I can do that. I'm feeling lazy today. Yep, it seems to work. So, yeah, there you go. All right. So this is our data. And I believe you all know these are just comments, right? So we can keep them or we can leave them. It doesn't change anything. So now I run this and we have our data set. Okay. So now the first question says select the highest temperature recorded. And it should be 27. Okay, so where is 27? There are two ways you can do it, but I would want you to go through the normal process first. Then we can use the built-in functions or built-in, modules that are available in NumPy. So here we can see. Let me come back to this page and increase it. Yeah. So we want to find the. Now let me let me just copy the questions here, and then we solve them so we can see exactly what we are working with. What is the question? Yeah. So it says select the highest. So what you can do is here, you can also choose what you want to do. Okay. For example, if you want this to be a comment, right? It's not executable. What you can do is you should be able to change the format of this. Now, I shouldn't be able, I don't know if it's not possible with this one. But some of them, you can just save it as markup language, and then it will no longer be a code. Okay, let me see. It's markdown, yes. This should be markdown. Markdown, yes. When you do that, what happens is that it no longer sees it as a code. It sees it as a comment. So when you run this, it does it like this for you. So this is how you can add some comments in there. Okay, so in this case, it says select the highest temperature recorded, should be 27.1. And we find that 27.1 is here. So can anyone give me the command to get this? The code command to execute this, to get this for me. Anyone, you can type it in the chat. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 rows, and then how many columns? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 columns. So what will be the command? I want to get 27 because that is the highest. Who can help me with it? Anybody? We've done array slicing, so we are going to use array slicing to do this for me. I'm waiting for you. I'm not going to do it by myself. Today's class, you are going to be the teacher, and I'm going to be the student. So I give you, let me give you 5 minutes. Okay. If you have that answer, you can type it in the chat. So we are selecting this value. So it's on the fifth row, and then 6th column. Okay. I have one response. Okay. 9 has responded. Who else? Okay, so let's see what 9 gave us. Run it and see if we are going to get the results. So we run this. And yes, it gives us the results, 27. Any other approach that we can use to get this? Okay, Andy. All right, let me see. Good. Andy, very good. Andy is all right. Appel. Okay. Good. So we're able to pick the data, and that's a good sign. At least we understand the array slicing. So we look at the data types and how they affect computation. So now let's look at another approach. So with array slicing, you can do this. However, there is a built-in method in NumPy that you can use to get the maximum value in case you're working with a very huge data set. Okay, another one. In case you are working with a very huge data set where you cannot slice. Okay, so what happens is that then you may have to use a built-in method. Okay, in NumPy. Okay, let me see. This is another answer. Yes, it works. So we can now employ a built-in, I think Popolampo is here. Yes, okay. Yes, Elom, that's what I want to talk about. So I see Popolampo. Oh, I think there's a problem. It gives me 23.9, which is not what we are looking for. I think 23.9 is somewhere here. So first of all, the column you picked was not the right one. The row was not the right one, but the column is right. So even though it is on the 6th column, it is not on the 5th row. Okay. All right. So in cases where you have like a very huge data set, you cannot go through one by one and cherry pick the maximum out of it. What you can do is, because this is a function of NumPy, there is a method in NumPy, okay, that can help you get the maximum. Okay. So what you do is, now if you want the maximum, you just go data dot max, okay, like that. Then you run this, you see what it gives you, 27.1, right? Because this data, right, that we have here, this data was initialized as a NumPy array. NumPy has a method called maximum, which can help you get the maximum value from the data you have here. It's the same way if you want the minimum, you change it to data.min in that order. So that is how you do it. So instead of going through all this process, you can just use the method to make your work easier for you. All right, so let's look at the second question. What does that say? It says we should select all of row 3. Day 3, right? So who can help me select everything on day 3? We change this to markdown, sorry. Then it no longer affects us, yes. Your hand is up. Elom, your hand is up.
Yeah. So, looking at the different slicing methods, for some of them, we got the result as a number, and for
Yep.
others, we got the result as an array. Does it
Yes.
matter whether we are selecting it as an array or a number? And is it going to affect like the analysis further down if depending on how it's selected? I'm just
Yes.
curious.
Yes, it has an effect. The way you work on an array is different from the way you work on an integer or a floating point number. Okay. So the issue now is, if you want to perform certain computations, right? You may, because it's just a single value that you pick, and NumPy has certain features in place. It usually does not really make too much of a difference if you are working within NumPy, but in some cases, it really has an effect. So let's try an example based on what you said. Okay. So let me just come here and then let's save this one as answer 1. Okay. And then let me run this. You notice that if I perform an operation, okay, here, I say answer 1, right, times, times 2, it will still give me the results, but the results will still be in an array form. You understand? Because you can perform several operations, arithmetic operations on the data, it really, I would say, you are still going to get the results. However, the challenge with this is that in case you want to output the results, okay, let me see what happens when I say print. So we can see the difference in output we are going to get. So we do this, it prints it in an array form for us. So if you are performing certain operations and you don't want the results to be in an array form, then you have to be able to choose, make sure you pick the results in this form, in the digit form, sorry, so that you can easily use it for whatever you want to do. So yes and no, depending on what you want to do. So that would be my answer for that. All right. So let me see the results we have. Yes, so what if we use np.max? Yes, you can try that too and see if it works. Because there's no one way of doing anything in programming. The most important thing is to get the results. Okay, so we just try this. We run this and see what happens. Yes, it does the same thing for us. So depending on how you look at it, you can always work with it. All right. So I have Apple. Okay. So it means that you guys could have worked on this, but you just didn't. What were you doing over the weekend? It's holiday and it's spring festival, so you guys are enjoying it.
Val's Day.
Oh, it was Val's Day. Oh, okay. Okay. So what you guys okay. I think I will just keep quiet and reserve my comments. You know. Yes, you said some moments I just said this is what I had. Is there any no, there's nothing wrong. It is just telling you that you had your results, the floating point number. And like I mentioned, a float is 24, like any decimal number with a decimal point. It's a floating point number. So like I said, the data types, you have the integer, we have the floating point number, we have the strings, we have the arrays and stuff like that, which we did from the beginning. So it's not wrong, it's correct. You can perform operations on it just like any other. You guys enjoy so much, you forgot to work on the assignment. My ad. All right. So Elom, your hand was up.
Oh, I was going to say that it was Valentine.
Oh, okay. So you were also enjoying, huh? Good for you guys. All right. So it seems okay. This one was for the first question. So yeah. So now let's move on to the third one. See if you understand this, it's not too difficult, right? So now I want to pick the question says pick let me hide this. All right. So I copy this, then we create a new one here, and you change it from code to markdown so that it could serve as like a documentation for your work. So when you run this, you have it this way. So it says select morning temperatures. Okay, column 3. First 3 columns for all these. So these are morning, afternoon, and I guess evening, right? So they are saying that select the first 3 columns, all these. So we select, this one, this, from the first row to the last row. All right, so what are the answers? Now you guys are teaching me, I'm listening to you. All right, we have Lampo. Yes, let's try it and see what we get. Let me run this. Gives me 19, 20, 21, 35. All right, let me see. Let me bring data here and see if that's what we are getting. So 19, it is not right. Popolampo, you want to get this. So here,
Yeah.
this to
This,
here.
that's magnitude.
Okay. All right. Sorry. I thought it was for question 3. All right, then I think you are right. Yes, it's the same thing. So you are right. Yeah. Okay, so let me see. Gideon. All right. Very good. So 9, 8, yep. That's what we are looking for. It's the same as ninth, yes. James chose a different approach. Let me see. Let's run it and see what we get. Yep, James got it right as well. So this is the answer for question 3. Okay, let's pick the Popolampo. Yes. Let me see. Your answer is similar to James's, right? So I think it should work. Yeah, correct. Okay. So let's move on to the 4th question. Let me see what it says. Oh, so I'm sure when I sent the assignment, most of you will be like, nah, teacher, we won't do Valentine now. Right? I'm sure. I can bet that Popolampo thought that in his head. That's like, why is this teacher sending assignments on Valentine's Day? 9 says exactly. Oh, okay. All right. So, question 4. Select the afternoon peak window, column 4 to 6. Okay. From day 1, for day 1, 2, and 4 only. So you are picking only. So this is what the question says. You are picking day 1, this row, and this row. Okay. So row 1, row 2, and row 4. However, you are supposed to pick columns 4 to 6 only. That's the afternoon. So peak afternoon is this column to this column, all the way down. So you are picking all these ones. Okay, all these ones. So I want to see. All right, Apple has an answer. Let me see who else. Let me run this and see what happens. Oh, okay. So we have 23 to 22 to 23. Okay. Why am I having? I'm having something in reverse. 22, 24. Apple, you may probably have to be doing something not quite okay, because what happens is, for example, if you initialize this, okay, and you want to pick the first column, in your case, I would have picked 23. However, the first column for what we're looking for is 22.3. Your answer is right, but it looks like it has been flipped. So go and have a look at it again and come back. So I want, on your side, you got the exact same output. Yeah, I just ran it here and it looks flipped. Let me just run it again, see what happens. Yep, it looks flipped. I don't know. Well, so then perhaps I don't know what is happening. It's probably, I don't know. Anyway, so you are right. Okay. All right. But the approach is also good because I can see 1, 2, and 4, and then from 4 to 7. Yeah. But that is correct. So maybe it will be for my, I don't know, for my code, for my, what do you call it, notebook or something. All right. Any other answer? Any other? Any other besides apples? I'll give you all like 5 minutes to pick from here to here, all the way down to all the way. You pick this one, sorry, first one, second one, and fourth one. These ones are the ones we need. This, that, and that. Okay, 5 minutes more to try. All right, Nines, your hand is up.
Yeah, I was just saying the previous question of what you were just talking about. The question said you should pick from, I think it stated day one. So day one like is it counted from day zero. So day one will be the second one, and then it says from column 4, I think. So I think its answer is right.
No, so
If you
the one, as we did here, is the first column. But his answer had 23 first, and then 22 at the edge. You can see from here. So
like
that's
the first
23 first.
okay, so if we are going with what you gave, then but then the one you gave, I started to give, I think it started from day 0, day 1, day 2, day 3, day. So if
Is
that
that
was the
from day
case, I think day
zero?
1,
Is
yeah.
there? I don't think there's day 0 in there. Let me go back. Day 1. There's nothing like day 0. So day 1 to day 5, yeah. Because I don't know if in math you can count a day as 0. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
You
I
get it?
get it. Yeah, but then I think you see his answer started from it started 22, it started from 23.1, 24.5. That's the day 2, yeah, day 2.
Day 2 where? Here.
Yeah, where your Keza is, yeah.
Okay. I get it right. I get it now. No, but what he posted here, okay, that I'm seeing has 22 first. You can check the comments. Oh, okay, it has been changed. Because this is what I was seeing. I saw 23 and then I thought it was flipped. Oh, okay. So then it means that it is not right. Yeah. So Apple, I think your answer is not right. Thank you for drawing my attention to that night. Thank you. So yours was picking from here. Oh, okay. I understand. Let me see, AJ. Some hands were up. Elom, your hand was up, and then who else? Elom, you can speak.
Okay, so I wanted to ask again. I'm just curious. So I basically took the same solution that AJ provided, but instead of using square brackets for the 0, 1, and 3, I used the what do they even call it? Just the normal brackets, and I still got the same answer. I'm just wondering why. Or if it
Um,
matters. Like I've just put it in the chat how I wrote it.
I'm not. I don't know if it really matters. However, some of these things, there's because programming has several ways of doing. There's no one way of doing it. So if you, like you notice that the first I mentioned that if you put together an algorithm or code and it works, then it means it's correct. So there's no one way of doing it. Okay, so if you do it that way and it works, then it means it's correct. It's as simple as that. That is why before I say an answer is acceptable or not, I ran it to look at the results. So the results determine whether your approach is correct or not. That's all. Yes, Apple. Yes, because you are starting from, can you see my screen? Because you are starting from 1, you understand? That is why you're having that error. Okay. I think you still probably, day 1 is the first row. Okay. So maybe you, like Nine said, maybe you are choosing day 0. This day at 0. That is why you're having that. So yours is picking from here. Okay. till here. All right, so check it carefully. What I want is I want day 1, day 2, and day 4, right? That is what the question says. Day 1, day 2, and 4, and columns 4 to 6. But you give 4 as well. Column 4 here doesn't have an index of 4. It has an index of 3. This is 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so from here to here, from here to here. All right.
Sorry,
So,
sir.
yeah.
Please per the assignment, the question 4. You said day 1, but
Yes.
from that you give it starts from 23.1.
No. So let me explain this. You see, in the assignment, let me bring the assignment up. Okay, this is the assignment. Okay, are you with me at all?
Yes, please, sir.
Yeah, it says day 1. So the first, because there's nothing like day 0.
Okay.
In counting numbers, we don't have 0.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so day 1. So this is day 1. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And this is day 2.
Okay, sir.
And this is day 4. Right?
Okay, sir. Okay.
And it says from column 4 to 6. So this is column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4. This is column 4. To column 6. This is column 5, column 6. So I want to see 22 to this, 21 to this. Okay, sorry, my mouse is 21 to this, and then finally 23 to this. Okay, but what you are giving me is from here, 23 to this.
So
You
sorry.
understand?
Yes, sir. The reason why I did that because of the output. That's why I did it that way.
Okay. Yes. So in counting numbers, you don't count it as 0. That's why you should know that the indices start from 0. But when you are counting it, you don't say 0, row 0 or column 0. You say column 1 or row 1. Yes. Yes.
Sure, sir.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. So this is the answer you are supposed to get. So I even showed you what I'm expecting. Sorry, where is it? Yes, it's this one. I even showed you the answer I'm expecting to get. All right. So let's keep going. Okay. Let me see what happens with this. Okay, so I have 24. So you see, Elom, you see where your challenge is. You are starting from 4, which is not what we are looking for. We're supposed to start from 3 to 6, 3 to 7, sorry. Because you are starting from 4. The starting point should be, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. But then this should be 3, index 3, yeah. Okay. Yep. This is it. This is what I want to see. Yep. Polampo. Yes. Yep. All right. Yeah, that's it. That's correct. Go back to the assignment. So yes, I think let me look at this. Yes, I think you are right. The results I gave here was what misled you. So I think there was a problem with the question. Yes. So Apple, you are right. If you looked at it the way I put it in the assignment. So I made a mistake with the assignment. Okay. So yes, you are right. Okay. So now let's go to this. The fifth one. We have that. Let's change it to markdown. So we can have documentation. So no, it should be day 1. There's nothing like day 0. Forgive me. Some of these things are typos, and I think in the heat of doing it, I made some mistakes. So this will be day 1. Okay. Day 3 and day 5. That's what I meant. And then column 6 to that. Next time, I'll just have to make sure I pay more attention. So let's focus more on what I intend to give in this class. All right. All right. So who can help me with this? You want to select day 1, day 3, and day 5. Okay. And we only want to select afternoons and evenings. So we select column 3 and column 6. Right. Only column 3 and column 6. So what I want to see is, let me just put data here so we can visualize what I want to see. All right. So day 1, day 3, and day 5. So this first one, the third one, and the 5th one. All right. Now, what we want to get is columns 3 and 6. So column 1, column 2, column 3. So this is index 2. Don't forget, all the way down, and index 7. Sorry, index 5. So afternoons, 1, 2, 3, and here. So let's see how you do it. I'm waiting for the results. Before we jump into the functions, I would leave the final one for you to work on by yourself, and then you provide. So these ones, I'll leave them for you. Okay. And this is a bonus question, so I'll just, or you'd want us to try it. Anyway, yeah, Elom, your hand is up.
Just so I get it clearly, which days are we selecting?
Day 1, 3, and 5.
1, 3, and 5. Okay, thank you.
1, 3, and 5. Okay, we have an answer. Let me see. Yes. Columns 3, column 3 and 6. So what is happening? Sometimes my mouse has a mind of its own. It goes where I don't intend it to go. Anyway, so Appel, you are picking the counting numbers of the columns, okay? But here it starts from 0. So you have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is for the indexing. But if you are counting, okay, for counting numbers, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 till 8, because you have 8 columns. You don't have 7 columns. So if I say column 3 and 6, I meant yeah. Good. All right, let's do this. You have Popolampo, you have way too many answers. So you got the first one right, which is you picked 20.5, 18.8, and 22.9. Okay. So the next one you're supposed to pick is column 6. What I said is I want columns 3 and 6, not column 3 to 6. So you have to revise your solution. But I've noticed that, I've noticed that some of you are using the bracket notation. I'm not using the step notations anymore. Anyway, so that is also good. So I have Eric. Let's go. This is Eric's, right? Yeah, so you have the 20.5, 18.8, 22.9. Good, you have it right. But here you chose from 2 to 6, but it says only 3 and 6. So that would be 2 and 5. So you can use the same notation you used here to get only column 2 and column 5. So just give it a shot again. Andy. All right, let's look at Andy's. Andy, your results are not enough. You got a 20.5, and then you got 19.2. So perhaps you're not doing something right. So another notation you could use is you call data. Okay. Then what do we want to do? We want to pick columns for 1, 3, and 5. So we can start from the beginning, okay, till the end, okay. Then we go by 2 steps. So what you do is you can try this one gradually, like that. Then you run this. Okay, so now you notice that you are getting it right. You are getting the rows correct. Usually that's how you go about it. Try getting the rows correct. So now I can see that I have 18 to all the way to, I have the rows correct. Then now I come to the columns. Okay. I only want column what? Columns what? 2, yeah, using our index. Columns 3 by counting, but by index, this is column 2. And column 5, okay? Because this is by using counting numbers, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. However, I want columns 3. So in Python, this is 0, 1, 2, okay? And this is what? 3, 4, and 5. I want this and that, okay? This and that. So what do I do? So now I can choose to pick this column to this column first, okay, from them gradually. This is how you put together a code. This is just a simple example, but usually that is how it's done. You break the problem down into bits, then now you solve them gradually. So you solve one at a time. You don't try to get all of it at a go, okay? So once you have this done, now the next thing we want to do is we want to pick from this column, want to pick from this column to that column, okay? Columns 3 to 6, which is also using Python 2 to 5, okay? Then what we do is we start from 2 all the way to 6 because we know we have to add class 1, right? Good. So now we run this. When we run this is what we have. So now we can see that we have picked the first ones, but we don't need these 2. Okay, we only need this one and that one. So what do? We bring a step. And how many steps are we looking at? From here to here is how many steps? It's 2. Sorry, 3. From here to here is 3 steps. So then I bring 3. What happens when I run this? It gives me exactly what I'm looking for. So usually in programming, this is just a simple case that most often you may come across very huge projects. You don't try to solve them all at a go. You break down into pieces, into blocks. And then once you achieve a certain block, you translate it to the next. And before you know it, you do it like in a pyramid form, the reverse pyramid. You start from the big, narrow it down so you get to where you want to go. So this is like a simple example. Okay. Right. So let's look at the questions again. And so select all values above 25 degrees. So now, how do we do this? Who can help me? Select, or we did, this is what we did. We did a for loop. okay? And then we have done if statements. Then I want to select values that are above 25 degrees, okay? This is it, values that are above 25 degrees. So it is a thinking question. You probably do not have to answer it, but I would want us to do it in class. The reason why I added this so that we can see some of the things we want to do. So for example, we have this, okay? And if there are any questions, you can raise your hand and then ask them whilst the class goes on, proceeds, okay? All right, so now we are saying select all values above 25 degrees, okay? So what we do now is, let's write a loop, okay? That picks each row after row, okay? So what do? We say for, let's call it rows on a row in data. Don't do anything, just print it to see what happens, okay? Like I said, it's always good to print out to see what you are doing. Print row. That's all. We want to see what is happening, what the code is doing. All right. So when we run this, what is going to happen is it's going to print each and every row for us. So now we know our rows are correct, okay? What do we want to do? Now, within each row, we want to pick the values that are greater than 5, okay? So what do? We can loop through these rows again. So now, so you see the first loop was through the rows. Now the second loop will be through the columns, okay? So now I just want to pick each and every value one by one. So what I do is now for, I can call it calls or columns, in row, right? Print calls, all right? So what I'm doing is, first, I printed all the rows. So now I know it's correct. Now, each row here is an array as well, okay? So I want to pick only one and then print the values one by one, okay? So an example would be, we run this, you notice that it's printing the values one by one for us, all the way to the bottom, okay? So let me do this again, so you see what I'm doing. I want it to be, okay. Let me copy this, so I don't have to type it again. All right, so you see what this one does? This one gives me all the rows, all right? But now I want to pick the values one by one in them, all right? So what do? Okay, I can write this code. So what, for example, we want to pick only one row, okay? This is what I'm doing here. So one row, and I say I pick 0, sorry, the first row. I want all the columns to print out for me. So what do? I run this. You see, it prints out the values one by one for me, okay? So what I did was, now I merged the two. Because I don't want to keep entering 1, 2, 3 all the way to get the columns, right? What I do now is I put this for loop under this. So whilst this one is churning out that row for me, this one is also working on the rows that this one is churning out to give me the columns. Is that clear? Can I be heard?
No, sir.
Okay. So let me go over this again. This is a bit tricky, but I'm sure you would understand. So here's the thing. They are saying that they want temperatures that are above 25. There is a way you can use the methods that are available within NumPy to do it. But I feel that in order to get a better understanding, because programming, you have to know the basics to be able to do certain things. What we want to do now is, if we want to find out all the values that are greater than 25 degrees, then it means that we have to compare the values one by one to 25, okay? And then find out if the values are greater. I hope I hope you agree to that, right?
Yeah.
Good. Because we want to find out the values that are greater, what we have to do is, that means that we have to pick the values one by one. And then when we pick them, we compare with 25. If it is greater than 25, we write it. If it's greater than 25, we write it. You understand? So now, what do? We want to find out, first of all, what we would want to do is, we should be able to print out the rows. Okay, we should be able to access the rows. So this is just helping me access this command. Is just helping me to access the rows. I'm just printing it out for you to see. So this print is just for you to see what this function, this for loop is doing. Okay. So now when I run this, it is giving me the rows one by one, one by one, one by one. Okay. It's giving me the rows one by one. Good. Now I also want the columns, but in order to get the columns, I have to pick a row, and then that row, I check the numbers within the row one by one. Sorry, so what I want to do now is, I want to check the numbers in row one, which is index 0 here. This is row one, okay, which is index 0. So what I want to do is, I want to check the values one by one, okay? So what do? I pick this row alone, and I print out the values. So this actually helps me pick, like the way we did for arrays. So this row is just an array. So I pick this row, okay? Then I print it out. So now I can see the values that are in this row. So you forget about this one first. Let's focus here. So I pick only the first row, okay? And I enter into it and pick the values one by one. I think this is clear, right? Is this clear? I hope I'm not alone.
Yes, it's clear.
Good. So now what I want to do is, I want to compare the values there. So what do? I say if calls is greater than 25, right? Print call. So what happens now? You notice that before I didn't have this command here. Okay. So let me just go back so that it wouldn't be too confusing. Let me just skip. Yeah, I'm coming. So this is what we did first, right? We picked only one row, okay, and then we access the values in them. So this is how we pick the row. This is the command, as simple as that. We all know this to this point, right? So the for loop loops through the values and gives me this. Now I want to get the values that are greater than 25. So I'm just saying that for calls, which are the individual values here, I can use X, I can use Y, I can use Z, whatever I want. But in order for me to understand, I use calls, okay? So that's columns, right? Now, what happens is, I'm able to access these values one by one. So what I'm doing now is, for this for loop, now I pick the first one, then I compare it to 25. If it is greater than 25, print calls. I have to add an S. This calls, print this value. So what I'm doing is that now the values that are inside this data that I'm picking one by one, because I'm looping, if I pick one value, say 18.25, I'll compare it to 25. If it is greater than 25, I print it out. If it's not, I do nothing. Or I can choose to print this value. Let me just put so that we can understand. Any way you want to do it. You can say this temperature is greater than 25 degrees. We don't have a command for that. So let's just put 25C here. Then let me bring this here so that we can make it look better. This is just me trying to make it look better, nothing more. Okay. So don't be alarmed when you see this. I'm just trying to make it look better. Yeah, put it here. So what I'm doing is, or you can choose to add an extra line, okay? So that you can have it very fancy like that. Else, what do I print? The same thing, but I say it is less than. So I can see what I'm doing, right? This is just for visualization purposes. It's not very necessary. I do this. So what do I do? When I run this, see what happens. There is an error somewhere. Where is the error? You cannot oh, okay. So because I cannot concatenate this with this, let me just bring a comma, right? So then there will be no need for this space. Then I remove this one as well. In a comma. It says I cannot concatenate. So it means that I cannot do that. Or I could choose a different approach. You look at that as well. So you see, it tells that this 18 degrees temperature is less than 25. That. You see what I just did? So now I'm able to tell that, oh, this temperature is less, this temperature is greater, in that order. Right? I hope at this point it is clear. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So then now what is happening is I'm able to do this for only the rows. I'm able to do it for only the rows. But I only pick one row, right? How about if I want to pick all the rows, look through all the rows? Then it means I have to put all this function, right, underneath this. So that underneath this, so that while this one is giving me the rows, the other one is giving me the columns. You understand? You get the point now. So this one is looping through columns, and this one is looping through rows. Okay. So what I'm doing now is, because I am picking the rows from here, why don't I let this function feed me the rows by looping through this to give me the rows, so that I don't have to do it one by one. So now what I do is I go back here and I pick my rows data, put it here, and now I pick my columns information. You see, I broke them. So I broke the whole thing down into pieces. Now I start merging them. So I come back here and I change it like that. So now this whole thing we are doing now is now a daughter to this. This is the parent one, right? For loop. So when I run this, see what's it's going to run through all the values, all of them for me. So now I have to change this to data. I have to change this to rows because this is the first row, right? So I copy rows and I put it here. Then I run this. This is done it for all of them. This is less, 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 less. Okay, so now we see that greater, 25.2 is greater, right? 26 is greater. All of these are less, less, less. 26 is greater, 27 is greater, 25 is greater. Okay, so that's what you do. So if I don't want to print and I only want to show, there's no need for me to print because I don't need this. I only printed for you to see. All I have to do is just pick the same function, the same equation, and I just change this. And I just do print calls. So it's going to print only the ones that have above 25. That's all. So it didn't have to go through all of this process. It only printed the ones that I wanted. That's all. All right, Popolampo, your hand is up.
Yeah, I was asking, I was lost at the line 46 or so. Please, please
46.
can you go up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think from here, the 46.
Okay, so I'll go back up here, right? And then I'll go over it again. So what is happening here is we want to get the temperatures that are above 25 degrees. But in order to get that, right, what do? We have to compare the values one by one to 25. Is that part clear? So what we want to do now is we want to write a code that can pick the values one by one and look through them. We don't want to do it manually. We want to automate the process. Okay. We don't want to write, for if we want this first one, we are going to write row brackets, 0, 0 or something, row brackets 0, 1, row bracket 0, 2. No, that's going to be a lot of work. So what we want to do is we want to loop through it. So how do we loop through it? First of all, it's a multi-dimensional array. Okay, it has rows and columns. So we want to find a way of picking the rows, individual rows. That's all. So that's what we did. So what we did now is we wrote a function that we did the for loop that is going to bring out only the rows. So what this one is doing now is that it's now picking the rows for us. So you notice that this is no longer a multi-dimensional array. These are one-dimensional arrays. Because if it was multi-dimensional, you would have seen another bracket here. Just like here. You see this one's multi-dimensional there. It's just telling you that it's 2 dimensions. You understand? This one shows only one. So it's just showing you that it's just one array. Now, this is the first one. So we're able to get the rows. Now, the second one is to get the values within each column, which we have already done. So now I say for columns in, this is just to get the first row. We all know what this is. Let me just put it here so that we can see. This is just the first row. Right? You see, this is just the first row, which we have here. And this code is able to pick that first row for us, pick the second and all that. So we just, in order to make the thing complicated, we now come to doing it with the columns. So now in the columns, we pick the first column, okay? And then we run through it. So now we're able to pick the values one by one, okay, for the columns. So what was the question? The question is to compare if the value is greater than 25. So now we created an if statement that compares these values that we have one by one with 25, and then churns out the results for us. So what this is doing now is that it picked only the first row, which is this one that we already have here, right? And it looked through them one by one. So if it picks one value, the first value is 18.2, it compares it to 25. If the value is greater than 25, it writes that this is greater. If it is less, it writes it. So that's what we did here. You can see that it is saying that this 18 is less than 25. 19 is less than 25. 20 all the way to this part is less. So that's what it printed out for us, okay? Now, we want to now look through all of this, which is the data we have, okay? So this is a very small data set, but if you are measuring temperature across the day, okay, and even you are measuring every minute, okay, that is a huge data set for 24 hours. You can't do this manually because it's a small data set. So what we are, even if you are doing hourly, okay, hourly, that is 24 hours. So you are going to have how many columns? 24 columns all the way for 5 days. That's a lot of data, okay? So in order not to do it manually, now we've done it such that now we can compare and see. We want to check if some days are hot. So if the day is hot, we say maybe 25 degrees is quite hot, okay? So then any temperature that's above 25, flag it as, temperature above 25. So we know that this day is getting hotter or something like that, okay? So we did it for the row, yeah, and we did it for the column. So now we have to put the two together so that whilst one is looping through the rows, the other is looping through the columns, okay? So what we did now is this one is looping through the rows, okay? And this one is looping through the columns. So we just put the two together. So if this one loops through the row, it feeds this data to the one that is looping through the column. And then that one also performs this algorithm. And then voila, you have your answers. So that's exactly what we did. I hope that is clear now. Is it clear?
Yes, yes.
Okay, awesome. All right. So now let's look at the second assignment. I think we are done with the other assignment. Let me check if we are done. Okay. So this one is a little trickier. So what I want you guys to do is, don't use but they are telling us to do this. I want you to do this and then pick these values for me. Pick the values 18 point that, okay, 18.5 that, like pick the diagonal values. Just do this for me. Let me see, 18.8, 23 point that, and then to the end. I want you to use the code to write it, not to use diag, okay, to write this. So let me see how it turns out. I'll leave that with you.
Please, the question again.
Okay, so let me show you the question. So this one is saying that you want to pick all the diagonal values. Diagonal are this one, okay, this one, oh, this, and that. So just pick the diagonal values like that, okay, from the first row to the last one. And let me see, I'll leave that to you. If you can do that for me using the same approach that we have done here. All right. So now let's look at the second assignment. The second assignment is for functions and loops. All right. Let's go to our functions and loops. So we already have the same array. So let me I'll add it to this same file so that we don't have too many files. So now we are going to this question. Let me copy it here. Let me do something. Let me see if I can get it to be a lot bigger than it is. Mark it down. All right. Yes, I want it to be bigger. So that looks much better. So we have this, okay? We have this. This is what we are doing now. We are using the same data which we have here, right? The same data set which we have. Nothing has changed. Oh, okay. So here I wrote day 0 to. This is wrong. It shouldn't be day 0. It should be day 1 to day 5. All right. So I'll correct that. Okay. Sorry about that. So now we want to count hot afternoons, which we did earlier. So we want to write a loop that goes through each row day and then count each column, okay? Columns 4 to 7, okay? And brings out the temperature that is greater than 24.0, 24 points that. So how do we do this? How do we do this? Who can give me any idea? How do we do this? How do we do this? So we are getting into something a bit more interesting. So now we want to pick, so what we want to do now is we want to write a function, okay, that picks, what is it said the hottest, the warmest day, okay, warmest day. So any day that records a temperature greater than, what value are you, greater than 24 degrees, then we'll say that those days are hot afternoons, okay? So we are going to start from day 1 to day 4, day 5, sorry. So let's do this. Apple, your hand is up.
Sorry, sir, please. I tried it. I first converted it to my list before
Okay.
I proceeded.
Okay. So how did you do that?
Okay, sir. So this is how I did it. After I converted it to a list, I created two empty variables, warmest temperature and the warmest day. So I used the for loop to loop through the range of the length of the list that I created. So in the for loop, I created another they called the max and an empty variable, and also within the day, because the day is a rule, and so when I compared it to a list, it became a list which is storing a dictionary. So I looked through it again. So I made it for num in new data. Then because it's a dictionary, I use the day as the indexing. So I started using the if to compare if the number is greater than the mistake.
Yeah, greater than 24. Yeah. Yeah, go on.
If it's greater than 24, then I will store it. And then after that, I first, since it wants to have to print out the warm day and the temperature at the same time. I also compared again using the day max and the warmest temperature. After that, I saw the day max in the warmest temperature and the day in the warmest day. And after that, and outside the for loop, I printed it out.
Great. That is an approach. That is a very good one. So we will look at that as well. That's a good job. You did a good job. So now what we want to do is similar to the previous one, okay? We first of all want to go through the rows and then go through the columns, okay? Then we compare and we print. So we are going to do something very simple here, okay? So we know how to, if I want to print out the rows, what do? I want to print only the rows. I want to see who can give me the command, put the command in the chat. I want to print only the rows, one by one. We have done this today, so I want to know, how do I print out the rows? Put the command in the chat. All right. Kevin says that. Yes, that is correct. So let's run it. Excellent. Now, I want to print out the columns for the first one, for the first row. What is the command? Yes, Apple, you are right too. Exactly. So I want to print out the columns for the first one. Columns for the first row. Who can help me? Columns for the first row. So yes, Apple, we have it right. Good. So I want to print out the columns for the first row. We've done this already, and it's here. Now I want to compare each value. Yes. Good one, Kevin. And I want to compare each value, okay, within this, okay, but with 24. And if it is greater, I save that value. Who can help me with that? I save it into a variable. Who can help me with that? You've done it in class. Just this day. If it's greater than 25, you save the value. 24, you save the value. That's all. So what we are going to do is, using this same data, this same information, right? Now we say if, sorry, it says rows, this rows here. So let me just save this as columns instead. So we don't have an ambiguity because we have row here. I don't want it to be similar, so it's fine. I want to use calls instead, or let me say column, just a column. Yeah. All right. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, like that. So now we say if call, right, in that is greater than 24, we say hot is equal to call. You save it. Okay. Or in this case, anytime we write something, it is going to change. But there's another way of doing it. Or you can create an empty array. This one works as well. Or you can create an empty array just above this and call it hots. You can create an empty dictionary or an array, depending on what you want to do. Okay, but let me not go there first because I don't want to make it confusing. We'll go there soon. So now, now that we have this, okay, we're able to do this. Let's go back and merge them like we did before. So we start with our row. Okay. All right. We start with our row. Then we add our column information. Okay. Don't forget that this one is indented this way. Now we bring this here. All right. So what do? We want to print the information. So now we come here, not outside, inside. After this function has been done, okay, we run a certain command. All right, let me see what the data wants us to print. 0, day 1, 2 hot afternoons, 2 hot afternoons, 1 hot afternoon, good. So we can now go back and save. We have to save this information. So we create an array. I wanted to do something else, but let me just create this one. So let's go with, no, we create the array here. Hot is equal to an array. So now what we do is we would append the information here. If I want to add an information to this, I just do an append, right? So what we do is we do hot. Sorry, I would give you an example first before we go on. All right. So before we go here, let me just show you a simple example of what I'm trying to do. So if I have a certain array, okay, let me call it test array. Okay. All right. So what is happening here is if I want to add another value to this array, I have to run this command. okay, here. So I'll say you cannot do something like this. So you have 0, 1, 2, 3. So you can't say that let array 4 be equal to 7 or something. It probably would not work. It may work, I don't know. Things are happening. Yes. So you see, it's out of range. But what I want to do, I want to add value 7 to this point. So what I do now is, for this array now, I append another value. Dot append. So what append does is that it adds the value to the end of it. You see? So what dot append does is that it will add this value to the end. So if I run this, right? Now if I go back, and I want to go underneath, yes. Yeah. So if I run this, you notice that 7 has been added to it. Before, there was no 7. You see here, 2, 4, 7, 9. There was no 7 at the edge. But when I did append, it added 7 to it here. That's similarly what I'm trying to do here. What I'm trying to do now is, for this hot that I have here, right? You notice that I initialize this one here. The reason for that is, let me show you something. Let's look at something for the difference. So if I initialize this outside of the for loop, okay, look at what I get. What happens? Look at what I get. No, yes, I get 0. So let me do something that can, okay, let me do it in the path that it does for, because this one, there's nothing in there. There's no day that is greater than 24. Okay, let me go back to the code and find out. Yes, it says greater than 24 degrees, 24.0, yes. So you notice that there is nothing like that, right? So it is empty. All right, so let me just try and do the one for the entire day, this one. So let me remove this from here. I want to do it for all the data sets, sorry. So now I come here and I go here, okay? I append, do the same thing here. This is what I need to do. So you notice that, oh, I have to bring append, oh, sorry. I have to bring this here. Hot is equal to, I run this. It works. So now let me see the data inside hot. What I'm trying to do is I'm just adding the information. If the information is greater, it's the same as doing print, but this one I want to save the data so I can use, right? And I run this. You see, it has appended everything for me. Okay. But this is not what I want. I want to see it for every day. And every day is a column. Sorry, it's a row. So instead of bringing it at the top, what I'll do is I'll bring it underneath so that every day it checks for me. So every day it will reset to 0, to an empty set, right? Then now what do? I print hot. You see something, all right? So when I run this, you see what it's giving me. It's telling me that the first day there is no temperature above 25 degrees. Second day, there's only 1. Third day, nothing. Fourth, there are 3. You understand? So you notice that now my hot is different from before. So if I run hot, okay, here, for this one, let me just I don't want to rewrite this. Let me just, okay. Let me run this on a separate line so that it won't mix it up. Yes, so this is the first one that we did. Okay, and this is the hot we got, right? Now we are going to do a second one, which is this one. And now, see the hot we have. So if I put hot here, I run hot, it will give me only the last one. Because what it's doing now is, it is working day by day. So every day, it will reset back to an empty array. Every day resets back to an empty array. Do you get it? Here, I was just dumping everything inside, but I don't know which one is day one, which one is day two, which one is day three. In order for me not to fall into that trap, okay, I bring it here, right? Instead, that's what I did. So what I can do now is, if I want, I can create another here and call it hot days. Sorry, days like that. Then now, what I do is, I append the hot I get here into the days before it resets. So what I do now is I bring this here. Right? So this one will append it every day, and this one will append it, for the entire time. So when I run this, now if I come and I do hot days, I look for hot days. This is what happens. You see now, I see that day one is empty, day two, I have one, day three, empty, day four. So this is also a multi-dimensional array, but these dimensions are not regular. So now I'm seeing the days when the temperatures are higher differently. Okay. So at this point, are there any questions? This is a bit tricky. If you have any question, you can just raise your hand. Popolampo is lost. Okay. I'm going to go back again. And I'm going to explain it gradually. Okay. So we know how to get our data information. We know how to get the rows in the data. We know how to get our columns, which we did today. Now, we learned how to add data to an existing array. What I'm doing here is, if I type this array dot append, right? Because append is a method that comes with a list. So if I do this, it adds another value to it. So now you see the difference. So what I want to do is, I want to add, sorry about that. What I want to do is, I want to keep adding. If the value is greater, add it. If the value is greater, add, okay? So the first time I did it here, I was just adding everything to this array. Okay, so what I'm doing is, if it is greater, I just add. But I realize that the results I'm getting is not what I'm looking for, because now I can't differentiate between the days. I don't know which days these are representing. Okay, so what I do next is, then if that is the case, okay, I want to do this. So let me just show you what we did here. This is what I did earlier on, just so we understand what is going on. I want to do it so that we get it. So here, I want to say print call, right? So on the day that there's nothing happens, okay? So let me go to day 2. When I run this, what happens? It gives me 24.5, okay? Day 3, which is 2. When I run this, this is what happens. There is nothing. It wasn't hot that day. Perhaps it rained or something. Now day 3, when I run this, it gives me that there are certain times, there are 3 times in the afternoon or during the day that the temperature was very high. Okay. Let me go to 4, which is the 5th day. it tells me that there were 4 times in the day that the temperature was high. Now I come here, the final day. Oh, sorry, it says me that it's out of range. So then it means that data does not have 4, 5, what do you call it, rows. So the final one is 4. Okay, so we have seen it, we have looked through it. So this is me doing it in the one by one, right? You see the information one by one. I'm doing it one by one after the other. You get it like that. Okay, so is it clear to this point? Popolampo?
Yes, please.
Good. So now you see, I've been doing this one by one, but I don't want that. Okay. So now what I want to do is, instead of printing it, I want to save the information. Okay. So now what I do is I bring an array here, initialize an array, but it's an empty array. Okay. And how do we add to an array so that it's append? So append adds to an array. So now what we are doing is we want to be adding to this array one by one. Okay. Give me a moment. Want to be adding to this array. Okay, so what we are doing now is, for this day, if a temperature is higher, add it to this array. If the temperature, anytime the temperature is higher than 24 degrees, add. That's append, right? So when I run this, it gives me an empty set. So it is just telling me that empty array, sorry, on that day, there was no temperature that was greater than 24, okay? Now, let me go to day 2, which has index 1. When I ran it, it's telling me that there was one time the temperature was higher than 24, and it was 24.5, okay? Let me go to day 3 with index 2. What happens? An empty array. So on day 3, there was no time during the day that the temperature was greater than 24. Okay. Now let me go to day 4. It tells me that there were 3 times during the day that the temperature was greater than 24 degrees. So it's this 1, this 2, and this 3 times. Okay, and these were the temperatures. And then now day 4. So what I'm doing is I am adding the information to this, and I'm just printing out this array. That's all. I'm not doing anything else. So I add this to this array, and then I print out, right? This is what I get. I hope it's clear to this point. Popolampo. Popolampo, are you there? If you are speaking, you're probably muted. I can't hear you. Can I be heard though? Hello.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So, are there any questions to this point? Any questions at all? Yes. So to this point, you at least understand, okay? So now this is because I have been doing this one by one, and I don't want to be doing this one after the other. I want to create a for loop that does this for me, okay? So that is where this comes in. So now you notice that this is the same data. This is the same for loop I have here, same one. But now instead of picking the what do you call it, the rows one by one and entering them, I am asking another for loop to do it for me, okay? And this for loop is picking the row one by one. And we've already seen this for loop here. It does this for us. This is what the for loop does. It gives us the rows. So now if I put this information under that for loop, then it's going to loop through the row one by one, and pick the information for me, okay? So when I run this, I have this results, okay? But I've noticed that these results are together. It can't tell me day 1, day 2. So you notice that Apple mentioned that he created a dictionary to get that done, which we will look at later. So now what happened was that we have all of this, okay? And we don't know which day it is. So then what do? Now, instead of saving everything at the end of the iterations, remember here we were saving it, we were having it before. So what do? We bring it before, just like we did it here, okay? That's what we did. But then what happens is, if we don't append this, okay, let me comment this out. If you don't append this, right, see what happens. After this, if I run hot, it will not give me everything I'm looking for. It will only give me the last one. Because this here changes the data every time I run the iteration. So what is happening is I am not able, you see this data is smaller than this. Then it means that, yes, the hot is doing what it wants to do, but it is not saving the information. It only left the last one for us, and that's what we are looking for. So then we just create another array, and when this hot is done, we put it inside, then we drop it there, then we drop it there, that order. So this is what we did. So right after doing this, if we bring hot days here and we run it, what happens? You notice that we have an empty array. We have 1. So meaning day 1, there was no temperature greater than 24 degrees. Day 2, we only had 1 time. Day 3, none. Day 4, we had 3 times. And day 5, we had 4 times. Is it clear up until this point? Polampo, are you okay now?
Yeah, I'm okay now.
Awesome. So now the next thing you have to do is now compare them and see if there are any problems. Okay. So now what we are going to do is we are going to create another loop. Okay. To write these values, or we can choose to print directly. If we print directly, we don't have to save anything. So let's pick the same information. Then we come here. So when we do this, we don't have to bring this at all. We just change this one to print okay, because we want to write the day numbers, let's just bring a counting number. Okay, so let's just start counting from 1. Right, so we want to count so that we can print it all. Okay, so what we do is now we say print day or we can just call it day. And then we come day. Then we add the length because we want to see the number of times. Okay, so for example, if we pick this array that we were working with earlier on, where is it? This test array. Okay, let's run this. If you want to know how long this array is, there's a command called length. So you say, I want to know the length of this array. Okay, what happens is that it tells me the length. If I run this, it will tell me 4. So it means that I have 1, 2, 3, 4 elements. Now, if I append 7 to it, okay, and I run it here, and I want to find out how long my list is now, and I type length. What happens? It's going to tell me 5. So what length does is that it tells you the length of the array you are working with. Okay. So an example would be if I want to see the length of this arrays, I can do that as well. So if I want to see, give me the length of hot. It tells me hot is 4 because the last hot we did here, this hot is what? 4. It has 1, 2, 3, 4 elements. Now I want to see the length of hot days. See what is going to happen. So some of these things, if you don't practice and you don't find out from them on the internet, you might not know them. I won't be able to teach everything, okay? For this class, it's just to guide you to start your programming journey. So when you run this, what happens? It says 5. Why is this 5? Who can tell me why hot days is telling me it has only 5 elements? Who can tell me why? Because obviously, we know the things inside here are more than 5. Who can tell me why it says the length is 5? Anyone? Who can tell me why it says the length is 5?
Because they are being separated by comma.
Yes. So what it is seeing now is, you see, when we did hot, length for hot, it is picking this element by element. Okay. So here too, what is happening is that it is seeing this array as an element, this array as an element, this array as an element. So if you look through, you notice that we only have 5 arrays. This is an empty, this one has 1, empty, this one has 3, and so forth and so on. So that's why it's telling us that it has 5. Okay, so length just tells you the number of elements within the array. Okay, so similarly, if we run the length for data, let's see what happens. It tells us 5. Because why is it 5? Because it is seeing this here, this as 1 element, because there's a comma here, another element in that order. So you see only 5. Good. So what we want to do now is we want to print out the number of elements within this hot day. Okay, because we want to print this number of elements, right? So what do? We also bring, it says day. Let me look at how the question put it out there. Okay, so day 0, day good. So what we do is we can just do it. I can format it, but we'll talk about formatting another day. I usually don't want to put too many information out there for you for now. All right. Then now I say what other information do you have there? That's when you get the same thing. So it says, okay, good. So now I print out the length of hot, this hot we have here. All right. Then I print out again, I print out the, what did it say again? Hot afternoons. Okay. There's another way of doing this that you can pick we can put an if statement there, but we'll look at that later. Now we run this. Or we can choose to do it this way. So we run this. You see, I put day. Oh, so now you notice what is happening. Because day is not changing, it's just give me day 1, day 1, day 1, day 1 for all of them, right? But we want the day to change. So what we want to do now is, after every iteration, we add 1 to day. Okay? But I hope it is clear to this point, right? Is it clear? Any questions at this point? If there are none, let me go. So I would say that now day is equal to day plus 1. Now what I'm doing now is that I am saying that after every iteration, add 1 today. After every iteration, add 1 today. Okay. So what it's going to do is the day is going to be increasing 1 by 1, 1 by 1. An example that I'm going to do here, let me just say day, okay, is equal to 0 or 1, right? I say for I in range 4. So range is just a way of creating, it has to run it 4 times, that's all. Okay, this is just a simple thing for you to see how the day plus 1 works. So I print to bracket day, okay? Then now I add 1 to day. All right, see what is going to happen. You see, it prints 1, 2, 3, 4. This is just to give me, because I don't have a list or anything. I just want to run a range. That's all. So just a range of 0 to 3. So now I have the first starting day will print, because Python prints line by line. Or prints what you call executes line by line. It will execute this, execute this, execute this. Then now add an extra 1 to the day. Then come back here again, print it, add an extra 1, print, add an extra 1. So you see it goes in that order. So now the day will be changing based on the number of iterations. So this is just by the way. Now, because I want the day to change as well, because here I didn't add that, day was always 1, because that's how I initialized it. But now I want to keep changing, iterating the day whilst the day goes on. So when I run this now, you see, it starts day 1, number of that. But we notice that we want it to print, if it is just 1 hot afternoon, yeah, there should be no S. If it is more than 1, there should be an S. So what we can do now is we can pick this same information, right? And with this information, what do? We bring an if statement. Sorry. If length of hot, okay, is greater than 1, what do? We print afternoons, right? And obviously, if it is less, what do? We print afternoon. As simple as that, right? So now when we run this code, you see now we have put an if statement inside that. So now you see this is more nested. We have a nested for loop inside another for loop. And we have another nested if statement inside this for loop. And outside of this for loop, right, we have another if statement that is nested within this for loop. So the indentation is telling you the hierarchy, right? So this if statement is under the for loop. So it doesn't work for this for, it works for this. But this one does not work for this, but works for that. So when we run this, okay, what happens? You see that on days that it is greater than 1, it adds an S. On days that it is not, it doesn't add an S. So this is how you can do it beautifully. Or we can choose to store it like we were doing here, okay? So once we have this, we are storing it, we are storing the data, okay? So what we want to do now is we want to print. So since we want to print, and we don't want this print to be part of this for loop, what we do is we create another for loop outside of this for loop, okay? So for that, we go to for hot. Let me call it hot afternoons, or let me do hot aft in hot days, right? What would this do? Who can tell me what this is going to do? Who can tell me what this is going to do? What will this print out? Briefly, anyone? I feel like I'm by myself. I don't have anybody here to help me out. What is going to happen here? Yeah. Good.
Hot afternoons.
Yes, it's going to print the days that it's going to look through the hot days. Good. Excellent. I'm not by myself. So now what is going to happen is if I run this, it's printing the afternoons for me. The afternoons that had hot in them. Good. But this is not what I want. I want something like this. Okay, to have something like this. You see this one, because we didn't save them, we have to create another, a variable day and then do this, that to get this. But this one, we don't have to create anything. What we have to do now is, then we have to collect this information here, and then come here, and then put it here. But instead of doing length of what, we do this. Okay. Then we run this. Oh. Now there's a problem. So we have day, but we need to print out the count as well. All right. So what we can do is we can choose to do it this way. We can bring a variable called count again, but I don't like count. So let me just do this one. This is another way of doing it. We can see range of the length of this array. All right. Okay. Then what we do now is instead of putting this on, you can just put an I or something here. So now what we do is now we have to pick this one and then put I here. I will explain that in a bit. Then I bring these ones here. There are so many ways of doing the same thing. Okay. That's the beauty of programming. So when I do this, I put I here instead. I put I. When I run this, it gives me an error. It says, oh, not hot afternoon. Sorry. It's hot days. Sorry. All right. I would explain that in a bit. I think the class is almost over, but I'll explain that briefly before we go. Yep. So that's the same thing for us. So what this is doing is, if I want to print out, you see, for say, what did we do first? I want to choose something that we've done already. Okay, hot days. So what we can do is for hot after hot days, right? Let me just copy it so I don't get it wrong. Hot days. All right. All right. So I do this. Print. Right? See what this does for me. It prints out this information, right? Similarly, remember I showed you how to use range, okay? So what range does, it prints a value. So it prints values within a certain range. So an example would be for I in range, say 6, right? Print I. So you see what I does, right? Like that. So it prints from 0 to 5. So what range does is that it creates an array of numbers for you and then loops through those numbers. The numbers will be from 0 to, and we know Python is always n minus 1. Our indices starts from 0. So the last value will be 5, not 6. Okay, good. This is what range does. I hope this range thing is understandable now. Before I do the last one before we close. Is this clear? This range here, is it clear how it works? Only this part. Yes, good, 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 awesome. So now what I want to do is, you see, this can also be the index to the elements in an array, right? So for example, if I want to print out all of these, for example, if I want this in hot afternoons, right? Hot days, right? Oh, let me copy hot days. I need hot days. Yep. So if I want the first element in hot days, what do? I will do this. I will run this command. This is the first element, right? If I want the second element, you already know how this is basic. We already know these things. Using the second one here. But now I want to do the same thing for this. So what I do is, now I can do this, right? So what do? I give it the length. Let's say I don't know the length of hot days, okay? It is better to always do this. I don't know the length of hot days. I can manually count hot days and then put the value, the length. How many elements? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can just put 5 here. But in order not to make mistakes, it's better to ask the code to find the length itself. Then now what do? I print. Yeah, I put I here. So let me just put another column here so you can see exactly what it is I'm trying to make you understand. All right, so here, you remember that when I put 1, 2 all the way like that, it goes. But when I put range, right, I represent the values in the range. Okay, so instead of putting 1, 2, 3 here by myself, why don't I put this I for this range? Okay, and the range of numbers, I can put 5 here because in this case, I know that the length of this hot afternoon is what? 5. But what if I don't know? It is better to put, you ask the code to find the length of that array by itself, not so that you have to enter it. Then see what happens when I print this. You see, it is printing the same thing for me over and over again. So for I in that range, it's picking 1, 1, 1, 1, going through it. Okay. So this is another way of doing it. So that is what I did here. So instead of instead of going this way, I chose to go this way. And I also got the results, similar results. Is it clear to this point? Let me just move this one to another place so that we don't have any confusion when you are working on it by yourself.
Getting complicated, but we'll review the videos.
Yeah. So if you have any questions, you can just post it in the chat. We will finish this assignment. We'll continue it in class, and then, because I will try and do this the next week. We just look at the data analysis and the plotting and stuff like that briefly. Okay. So basically, what I'm doing here is I am using different ways to achieve the results, and I will look at what Apple did the other time too. There are so many ways of getting your solution. So the thing is, Python provides you the building blocks, and you are the mason. Okay, you are the bricklayer. You have to know how to use these bricks to get what you want. It is like saying, if you want to go to work in English, There are so many ways you can say it based on the available vocabulary and also the grammatical, arrangement of it. You get it? You can say it several ways. I'm on my way to work. I am about to go to work. Like whatever, however you want to put it, it's based on the vocabulary available to you. So it's the same thing with Python. There are several, modules and several laws and several methods available. Whichever one works for you, you choose it and you work with it. That's why I keep saying programming, there is no one way of doing it. There are several ways, as long as you get the result is correct. Okay. So we'll look at this again. So what I want you to do is go over this next 2 days and try to see if you can solve some of the questions in the third assignment before our class on Wednesday, and then we'll discuss. Okay, I want you to try it, have some challenges, and if there's anything, we discuss it in class. That way I can see where you guys are having challenges and see where I can focus on to help you understand. If that's clear. Are we clear? So don't worry, we'll do this again on Wednesday, okay? All right, so on this note, I would share the file with you, this file with you today. Let me just do it now so I don't forget. Usually I'm always working on something, so I sometimes forget these things. So let me just quickly do it for you. Let me get on my desktop. And I have, where is it? 2026, yep. And then I have function, is it assignment 3? Okay. So let me just drop it now before I forget. Okay. Where is, no, I'm looking for, yeah, the chat. Okay. So here, I'm going to drop it here. It's my TA here. Gertrude, are you here? This is the notebook. So I've just shared it now. So I would want you all to have a look at the notebook and then do what you have to do. And if there's anything, share your comments and whatever misunderstanding you have in the chat, and then we are going to work with it. Okay. All right. So I'll see you all on Wednesday, same time, and we are going to go through it. There's no need for me to rush through everything when you probably don't get the understanding. So I may not finish what I want to do, but at least by the time we are done, at least you guys can be able to do something on your own without external help. That's the main goal of what I'm doing for this class. So that's why I take my time. If there are any questions, I want to solve them before we move on. So I'll leave it here today, and on Wednesday we'll meet and then we'll continue. So if there are no questions, I would end the class. I would end the class for today, and I'll see you all on Wednesday. So have a wonderful week and enjoy your holidays. Okay.
Thank you.
Don't forget to stay safe. It's important. All right. Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you.
Good